with that being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
Right.
Everybody now has an opportunity to pull up their chair and have a seat.
For the past year, Cheryl has relentlessly targeted Caitlin Clark with outrageous claims, such as insisting she's a 25-year-old, competing against teenagers, downplaying her rookie season, and suggesting that no one wants to play with her. The barrage of attacks seemed endless.
Some of your peers, they will recognize, her game, but they won't recognize her impact.
Right.
How can you separate the two? It's kind of hard, right?
And Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies.
Basketball legend and former Clark coach Cheryl Miller made a bold entrance into the ring, taking aim at the All the Smoke podcast and calling out Swoopes as a huge idiot while debunking what she called lies. Fans are buzzing with excitement as Miller puts Swoopes in her place and stands up for Caitlin Clark, dropping an unexpected revelation about the Indiana Fever's future. Are you ready for this?
3-time Player of the Year, 2-time National Championship, 2-time Tournament MVP, first woman to dunk in an organized game, gold medalist. Thank you for making time. Welcome to the show, Cheryl Miller.
In what may have been her most absurd claim, Swoopes spread blatant misinformation about Clark's college career, asserting that Clark was a 25-year-old dominating 20-year-olds during her time at Iowa. In reality, Clark was 22 and in her fourth year, just like many other college seniors. When confronted with the truth, Swoopes backtracked, attempting to justify her statement as hyperbole tied to COVID eligibility rules, a flimsy excuse that failed to justify her misleading remarks.
Let's also talk about how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old.
Swoopes made a bold claim, stating that Clark took 40 shots per game, which painted her as a selfish volume shooter. However, the reality was that Clark averaged 22.7 shots per game, making Swoopes' statement ironic, considering she herself took only 3 fewer shots per game during her senior year, 19.2. It's a classic case of throwing stones in a glass house. As Clark approached the all-time NCAA scoring record, Swoopes shifted her strategy, casting doubt on the legitimacy of the achievement by suggesting that it took Clark an extra year to reach it.
Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team, she probably ain't gonna get 40 shots a game.
This was completely unfounded. When Clark entered the WNBA, Swoopes confidently predicted that she wouldn't dominate the league. However, as Clark began breaking rookie assist records and establishing herself as one of the league's top playmakers, Swoopes quickly fell silent as the stats spoke for themselves. Clark finished her rookie season with an average of 19.2 points and a league-leading 8.4 assists per game, shutting down the critics and earning Rookie of the Year honors. She broke the record in 4 years, the same amount of time it took other college players.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
Perhaps most revealing was Swoopes' appearance on Angel Reese's podcast, where she continued to undermine Clark while insisting she didn't dislike her. A textbook case of saying one thing and doing another. The basketball community quickly caught on to this pattern, and it wasn't long before Swoopes was removed from broadcasting a Fever game, with Nancy Lieberman stepping in to replace her. Lieberman didn't hold back, directly calling out the misinformation being spread about the rookie sensation.
Didn't say she wouldn't be good. What I said was I didn't think Caitlin or Angel would come into the league and dominate immediately, which I don't think either of them did.
Respectfully, there is absolutely no way, even when we're trying to sit here and play semantics about dominating, there's no way that anyone could ever leave this season in saying that both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese didn't dominate. You would have to further explain what dominance means for you to not sit here and say that a player who is leading the league in assists while averaging 19 to 20 points didn't dominate that season.
The basketball world had been eagerly waiting for someone with real credibility to weigh in on the Caitlin Clark conversation. And that moment finally arrived when Cheryl Miller walked into the All the Smoke podcast studio. What followed was a fiery defense of Clark that absolutely shut down the critics. When a basketball legend like Miller, who has actually coached Clark, decides she's had enough of the nonsense, you get one of the most authentic and powerful defenses seen in women's basketball.
I've known Cheryl since she was in college. I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first SBs. I've known Cheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. I called her when Caitlin was still playing at Iowa and she had just broken Maravich's record. And it was all over the place, as you and I have discussed, that, you know, there was this quote by Cheryl that said, you know, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate.
The studio erupted, but Cheryl Miller was just getting started. With the passion of someone who had seen Caitlin Clark's work ethic up close, she defended her like only a true legend could. This wasn't just another talking head offering mild support. This was Cheryl Miller, one of the greatest to ever play the game, highlighting what the critics conveniently overlooked. Miller didn't just offer casual backing. She came with fire and precision, delivering a sharp and viral comment that resonated with everyone. Directed at critics like Swoopes, her 2 words said it all. Come on, you big dummies.
I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend and I said, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion. And, you might like Boston, I might like the Yankees. It's okay to have difference of opinions. Well, she got upset with me on the phone and I was like, Cheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing, we're talking. And so our relationship, it pretty much is not happening at this point. I tried to talk to her at the Final Four. Right. She didn't want to talk to me. My life's going to be good or great with or without Sheryl Swoopes in my life.
Clark's detractors refused to face the uncomfortable truth that her presence has elevated the league as a whole, boosting the visibility and popularity of women's basketball, and in turn, increasing their own salaries.
Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes. But she was in the backyard. She was putting in the same time, sometimes maybe more than you were.
Right.
I can't fault her for what she was given.
Miller's defense carries extra weight because she speaks from first-hand experience, not just speculation. Having coached Clark in the 2024 WNBA All-Star Game, Miller had a unique opportunity to evaluate Clark's performance up close, beyond the highlight reels. What she discovered during that experience left even her shocked, revealing just how special Clark truly is.
Look, as much as she was given, you can't tell me if that door would have swung the other way where she didn't live up to the hype.
Right.
Come on, folks are still waiting for her to fall.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yep.
So, with that being said, You big dummies, you getting paid now.